with Michael Link. You've come to the right place. My name is Patrick Robertson. I'm a director with Ecom and chair of the Classrooms to Communities, or C2C Education Network here in BC. Let's begin with an acknowledgement, shall we, as is our custom. I'm coming to you from the unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples here in Comcomale, and what is also known as Vancouver. As we move forward here with further acknowledgement of where the conference is taking place, feel free in the chat to share who you are and the acknowledgement of the territory upon which you are coming to us from. In the chat, if you would, thank you. Of course, the conference would have been held all together in one place, but we're coming from many, so thanks for acknowledging your place. We acknowledge the traditional territory conference is being hosted on. We acknowledge the Huron-Wendat, and Petun First Nations, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Denasani, the Seneca, and most recently the Mississaugas, the Michissagi of the Credit, who for thousands of years have sought to walk gently on this land. This is Treaty 13 territory, the Mississaugas of the Credit, as well as the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabeg and other allied nations to peaceably share and care for the lands around the Great Lakes. Our acknowledgement today signals our desire to seek a new relationship with the original peoples of this land, one that is based on honor and deep respect. And it's a starting point in our work to remind us all that we need to enact this in our personal and professional lives each and every day. Thanks for acknowledging the territory which you're coming from in the chat. Welcome to our Zoom host. While you do that, Brenda Simon from Natural Curiosity.
Hi.
Thank you for your technical wizardry to support us this morning. It's still morning here this afternoon where you might be. Thanks in advance, Brenda. Are we recording? Yes, we are recording.
Yeah.
Thank you. And welcome to you all. We hope you enjoy the session. If you have questions or perspectives to share during the session, please drop these in the chat. And Michael and all of us will do our best to address them before we close. Thanks for that. Once again, our presenter is Michael Link. Michael is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Education at the University of Winnipeg. He served as an educator in Surrey, BC, yes, out near my neck of the woods for 10 years. And his research interests include eco-justice education, education for sustainability, and student well-being. In fact, his PhD research explored the link between outdoor education and student well-being. Thank you for joining us all. Thanks, Michael. Take it away.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. Before we get started, I want to, hold on. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. I want to make sure that I am, 1 second. This is just so seamless. It's just like I've been doing this my whole life. Okay, yeah, I think this is going to work. Okay, so let's get started. I want to begin by acknowledging the fact that I'm standing on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the OG Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples. This is Treaty 1 territory out here. It's also the homeland of the Métis Nation, and I think it's important to acknowledge this, not as some mindless kind of ritual, but as a real a gesture of reconciliation, a small one, but an important gesture nonetheless. And, you know, acknowledging the fact that we're on Treaty 1 territory, meaning that we need to make sure that those treaties are being respected, especially in the area of education, as many of us are educators. So I'd like to start off by finding out where you're coming from. So I've got a little Slido here set up. So if you could use your phones to QR code scan that and let me know where you're coming from. Is it working? Can everyone see my screen okay?
We're not seeing your screen. If you wanted to screen share again, Michael, thank you.
Okay, I will try that again. Sorry. It's hard for you to scan on this QR code when you can't see my screen. Let me try that again. Okay. All right, how about now?
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, now? Okay. There, okay, now it's working. So, not surprisingly, we've got at least one person from Toronto. We've got a fellow Winnipegger. Burlington, Ottawa. Memorcook. Wow, from all over the place. Well, this is fantastic. Collingwood. Well, cheers. Welcome to all of you out there. Thank you for joining this session. This is going to be a little bit different than what we've done, what you may have attended in other sessions. I know I've really enjoyed this conference. It's been incredible. I want to begin just by introducing a very brief critique of environmental education that's tied into my presentation. So just to give you an idea of the agenda for this, I'm going to speak for about 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to move into some outdoor activities, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a little debrief on those activities. So to start off, critical scholars of environmental education have pointed out that environmental education may reflect the same patterns of perceptions as modern science. So, for example, to see nature as merely utility for humans, to reduce nature to a collection of parts to be studied in isolation rather than as a functioning whole, to see nature and elements of nature as machine, and finally, to ignore or fail to act in the face of suffering and destruction caused by humans, such as the climate crisis, mass extinction of wildlife, and so the horrific conditions in which domestic animals are forced to exist by the billions. So this is an approach to environmental education that develops an appreciation of our place in nature. It's the fact that we are sensory beings embedded in a network of relationships. Well, let's let Susan in. Okay, and so I want to share with you a very short little video, if it works. Brenda, did we figure out if this video is going to work or if it's going to be choppy, or because this is something that they could watch later if you think it might be a problem. Oh, sorry, Brenda, you're
Yeah.
on mute right now.
Yeah, let's give it a try. And I
Okay.
haven't found those enhancement buttons, but let's give it a try anyway, because I have a feeling it's going to be worth it.
Okay, I'm gonna, so that you don't have to watch the ad at the beginning, I'm gonna switch over to, can you see that? It says the tree illusion on my screen. Does it say that on yours? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move that over and let's see what it looks like. Give me the thumbs up.
Hello, my name's David George Haskell,
Good.
and I have been listening to trees, some in cities, some in forests, returning again and again over months and years to each tree to sit, to listen to its sounds, its songs, and the stories that underlie those sounds. First thing that strikes me as I compare the trees around in different parts of the world is that trees are never what they seem on the surface. They seem to be such great examples of individuality, one tree trunk standing tall. And yet, this individuality is an illusion. All trees exist only in relationship. They're living communities. They're not individuals at all. They have their lives only through relationship, through interconnection. Those interconnections are biochemical, they're genetic, physiological, microbiological, ecological. So there are lots of different layers of connection with different organisms, and they bring the tree into being and then hold the tree in life all the way through to the end. And even after the tree has died, it is still a center for networked relationships. People are always part of these tree networks. And of course, people are formed from relationship, from interconnection as well. So human networks and tree networks are interconnected. That in some ways saying interconnection is the wrong way of putting it, because we're formed from connection. We're made from network, from relationship. So tree lives, human lives are not fragmented on one side or the other. They are in fact one life, one interconnected life.
Why is that? Oh yeah, there we go. That's where I want to be. Okay. So this Haskell's idea is this is actually a quote from his writing. Just to call something a tree, a noun, a singular being is wrong. This individuality is an illusion. All trees exist only in relationship, and so do people. So this is this idea that nature-based activities benefit our well-being because we are part of nature and we have evolved to be part of nature. You know this. We're also social creatures. We really know this through this past year and everything that people have gone through. Social connections benefit our well-being. So under normal circumstances, what I would do is I'd have us participate in these activities in pairs or very small groups, but it'll suffice to try this out on your own. I see Stephanie's already outside. That's great. But if you do have a roommate or someone, if you have a family member, you can do this with them as well if they're free on a Saturday afternoon. So what I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to have you skim through the activities. In fact, we'll go through them quickly together. And I want you to choose one of these, one or two, try them out. On the next slide, you're going to write your name. So I put into the chat, and I'll put it in again for those of you that just joined us. Where's my chat? So I'm going to put into the chat right now a link to this Google slide you can have. You can edit this slide, so that means you can add your name on the next slide beside the activity that you want to try out. And if there's more than one person who's trying out one activity, that's completely fine because our numbers are good for that. I'm going to invite this person in. So the following activities are kind of a response to this mechanistic way of relating to the natural world. It's a with nature instead of above nature thinking. It's what drives the following. So we're going to spend 20 minutes outside looking at these activities, and I'm just going to run through them really quickly. You can go to this Google Docs link if you want to take a quick look without having to go through all these slides, but I'm going to go through the slides with you quickly. You'll notice trees in between each of the activities so that you know when they start and when they stop. And they're also organized into different categories. So the first category is sensory experiences. So the first activity, 5 senses mindfulness exercise, and then we have sensing the forest. You can read through these in detail yourself. Okay, the next category, sensory classroom activities if you're a teacher. So there's the sensory scavenger hunt. You've probably done that one before. This is one, the next couple are from Jacob Rodenberg, who's also a presenter at this conference. He's got a book called The Big Book of Nature Activities, and it's actually one that I have my my science education students purchase for one of the courses that I teach. So spring sounds like is one. Spring feels like is another, and then this is something to try after the conference. It's spring tastes like. It's a little recipe that you can make if you have spruce trees or if you're out west with Douglas fir trees. And then there's a category of walks in nature. There's the out walk you can choose from, the forest walk activity, and a type of relationship walk called turning points. There's also a few meditations in nature, some of which you might be familiar with. One's a raisin meditation. Another one is an orange study or an orange meditation. And then there's a classic kind of nature meditation and one for in the future, but we won't do this one today, group nature meditation. The very last category and last activity is an outdoor classroom activity to explore relationships in nature. This is all around systems thinking, and this one is no exception. It's from the David Suzuki Foundation's, one of their resources they have that's sourced at the bottom there, Discovering Ecosystem Services Around Us. So we'll go through that, and then when we come back, just loading here, when you return, we're going to get into small groups, into breakout rooms, talk about how might these experiences promote an understanding of systems thinking or an appreciation to our place in the natural world. And then we'll record our highlights of our discussions there. So that's what we have for when we come back. So the first step, and maybe some of you have already done this, I'm just going to quickly go back here. First step is to choose one of these activities and to go into the link that's in the chat and write your name beside one that catches your eye that you're interested in trying out. And we're gonna see it's 1:47 right now. And we have till 2:20. Yeah, so if we go 1:57, if we were back here at 2:07, my time, which I'm not sure what that would be your time, 7 minutes. If we're back at 7 minutes after the hour, whatever time zone you happen to be in, 7, 8 minutes past the hour, that will be about 20 minutes. Any questions about what we're about to do here? If you're in a lockdown zone where they don't recommend that you go outside, I looked at the one in Ontario, and they say for only essential reasons, grocery shopping, or if you need to get physical activity, physical health. So you could say this is considered physical health, but if you're not comfortable with that, there are some alternatives that you can try from a window, or there's a few other options too if you read through. Whatever you're comfortable with. You might be in a building where there's an elevator and you want to use that elevator as few times as possible. So whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Okay.
I see the chat, something in the chat here. Yeah, all slides. See slide 10 of the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, the Google Slides presentation here for the sign up sheet. And I know that if I escape out of here, sometimes it'll reset itself. So I'm going to just exit out of there for now and then go back. We'll give you a few minutes to choose your activity. And I see some people have already written their names. I'm going to share screen again in a moment. 1 second. And here we go. Okay, good. All right. Thank you very much. Those of you that have already signed up. Yeah, so we'll come back at 7 or 8 minutes after 2 o'clock. And I will stay here for a moment in case you have any questions.
I'm going to hang out here with you, Michael, just to make sure
Yeah,
we don't lose our meeting.
yeah, absolutely.
I thought the video played just fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help.
I just ordered Jacob's book. I was facilitating his presentation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I have a gazillion of these types of books, and this is one of the best, I think.
Mhm. I don't work with children directly, but I decided I just wanted to do it for myself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of activities in that book.
Yeah.
That would,
Hey,
okay.
Michael.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm going to go outside in 1 second.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say I'm so excited to see this presentation, and I would love to connect with you and talk about. So I coordinate a program called Great Minds Think Outside. It's a teacher training program
Okay.
to equip them with the skills they need to be able to take their classes outside, no matter what age they teach, no matter what subject. And it's a lot of activities like this. And I would love to talk about collaborating with you. I'm going to put my email in the chat here.
Okay, wonderful.
I
Wonderful.
would love to get in touch with you and have a meeting about it sometime after you come.
Okay, and I'll put mine in the chat as well. It's also on the last slide of this presentation.
Oh, okay.
And do you have a copy of the present? You've got a copy already of this presentation, right? Okay,
Well,
so
I'm
I'll
in the
put mine.
Google thing, but I would love to get the slides themselves.
There's the slides right there. Yeah, Google Slides are
Am I able
all,
to download them by any chance?
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can
good.
edit them
Oh,
at
this
this
is
point.
great. I figured it out. Okay, I'm supposed to be millennial, so okay, I'm saving the slides. I'm so excited about this. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go do the exercises now.
Okay,
Okay.
excellent.
Hi, Zomi.
Great to meet you.
Are you familiar with the Natural Curiosity second edition resource?
You know what? I am familiar with it, having been at this conference, but I didn't know about it before. And then
Yeah.
I just ordered a book through our local bookstore, Sally Robinson.
Mhm.
But they said it might take a little while. So
Oh,
I would love to get a copy. So I noticed on the expo that there's a booth for Natural Curiosity. So I'm gonna check out and see if I can get something
yeah.
back to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks great.
We don't have this kind of thing in Natural Curiosity itself, right?
Hmm.
Like this kind of instructional piece is not, I mean, there's lots of huge resource. It's a very dense resource around inquiry and around the Indigenous lens, but there isn't a lot of specific, go try this, go try that.
I jumped back on after I put on my shoes and everything, Brenda, because I heard you saying that.
Yeah,
And I don't remember if you and I have met about this.
yeah, we have.
Yeah, right. Okay. I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
want to make that happen. I'm just putting that bug in your ear. Okay, I'm going out for real.
Okay, so your words are burned in my memory, literally, because Zomi said, could you make a 1.0 version of Natural Curiosity? Because we feel like the book is a 2.0 version of itself.
Well, but
You
we
remember
have
saying that?
that. We have that that resource. I feel like the one that we made is that.
Okay,
I'm gonna put it in the chat and you can download it.
okay, thank you.
But I'm gonna do it when I come back.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
Have fun. Okay.
Someone has written a very long text in the chat. I keep
Oh.
meaning to go back to it and I haven't seen it. Here we go.
Someone just joined us not that long ago.
Did that person get in?
I let them in. I just wonder if they know what's going on. If anyone's out there and you just joined us and you're wondering what's happening right now, please turn on your mic and feel free to ask questions. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12, 13, 14. Okay, we've got a good size group here.
Mhm.
I guess I could have just gone to the participant. Oh yeah, 26 people. Huh.
I'm
Where did
supposed to make a record of that. We're not quite at the half-hour mark yet. I'll wait. Somebody else might still show up.
So we're going till 20 minutes after the hour, is that right?
Yep. And they're asking us to really hold to the time. So how many breakout rooms do you want?
So with 26, if we put 6 big breakout rooms of 4 or 5 people, I think that'd be about right.
Okay.
So 6 rooms. And right at 2:07, I'm gonna start putting them into those breakout rooms so
Okay.
that we can squeeze every moment of that discussion as we can. And then I'm gonna bring them back. Maybe I'll give them 6 or 7 minutes just to have a quick conversation, and then we'll have a wrap-up discussion.
Okay.
So about 13 or 14 minutes after, give us about 5 or 6 minutes just to kind of go over some of the big themes.
Sounds great. Hey, it's beautiful outside here.
Oh, good. Patrick,
So,
you're in BC?
yes, I'm in Vancouver. It's so fragrant. You know, it's we got a little bit of rain after 10 days of dry, and it's just so fragrant
Oh,
and
nice.
taste the air. Yeah, you bet. You can almost everywhere you are right now. So good. I had to
Sometimes
do
I
that.
have
I just
dreams
needed
where
5 minutes. Sorry, go ahead.
okay. Sometimes I have dreams where I'm actually in BC and then living in BC again, but then I wake up and then a little bit sad.
Well,
There's a lot of beauty out here too.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I remember helping my parents lived in Abbotsford for a while, and I remember I had moved back here, and then I went there in March or something, end of March, and flew into the Abbotsford airport and just left Winnipeg. It was very cold, snow everywhere, ice, and I landed in Abbotsford, got off the plane, and I stepped off onto the tarmac. And as soon as I stepped off, I could smell the cherry blossoms.
Yeah,
It was quite a contrast.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the rhododendrons? Are they in bloom?
You're coming out. It depends. Some have started to pop. It's everything. The cherries are sort of leafing now. What's coming out right now? I mean, the bulbs are all coming. We had 10 days of heat. It was like a couple days of summer. So that really made
Yeah.
everything pop. But now the rain is bringing the leaves. It's just a magical time.
We had our April snow dump a couple of days ago.
I heard. Good
Yeah.
times. But now it's sunny, yes, and warmer. How are we doing?
Hmm.
Yeah, if you launch, if you launch the breakout rooms, you can also put people, slot people in if they drift in. You can just place them.
Okay.
Should I, do you think I should set up the breakout rooms now, Patrick, or should I wait?
I would wait till you sort of
Yeah.
have critical mass, and then you just random push, and then anyone who comes later drifts in. We can just put into one of them. Needs a little more. Needs more people. I don't know. It was hard to come back. People may be challenging for people to come back. It's so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You certainly have a good radio manner.
Yeah.
Michael.
That was
Love it.
excellent facilitation.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Patrick.
I was.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
you
were talking
got
about
like
Michael.
no. Yeah,
It's
you
the
got
radio
like
club.
no,
Yeah.
you've got a broadcaster's voice, Patrick.
Oh, thank you.
Are
Yeah.
you in broadcasting at all?
I'm not. I guess I should think.
Yeah.
That's it. Quit my job and move out of education. Well, we're communicators, aren't we? We should. We're doing webinars and podcasts. I tend to just host, and then we have so many talented people that we're trying to feature and share with everyone, like yourselves.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
this is I'm also at the University of British Columbia in teacher education. I co-lead the Education for Sustainability cohort, and this is what we'd be doing is, Zoom, but then, okay, everybody head out, and as opposed to shared experience, it's different, but it's the exploration of your backyard, your neighborhood, your community. It's really relevant, and it's working.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's
absolutely.
different. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this conference happened is incredible. And all of the work that must have gone into something like this is just, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the medium itself is just so challenging. Like even with really inspiring speakers, it's so much better when you're in person. You know, you're right in the same room with them, and then you have a chance to like this conference, more than any other conference I've been to, has more opportunities for that piece of a conference that I find the most beneficial, and that's the networking.
Absolutely.
There are all these opportunities for networking, but those face-to-face conferences, that was always, the best part I found.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no offense to keynotes and sessions, but well, one of my colleagues and friends, you might know Brenda, Tim Grant back in Toronto. Perhaps you
No,
do
Tim.
too, Mike. Tim would also always ask, because I think one of his mentors would ask him about get back from the conference, how was the corridor? And say, what corridor? Yeah, the time, it's basically when you're out in the hallways and having those spontaneous connections. That's it, and we do. So there's been a few. I agree. There's been a few ways to try to do that. We're getting there, but
Yeah. They tried really hard. I mean, it's been relatively seamless.
yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, they were a little bit desperate for Zoom hosts because they recruited me. So anyway,
You're doing awesome. Speaking of seamless, how are we doing? 12:03. Oh, we're good.
Yeah, so in about 4 minutes, we'll put them into their different breakout rooms. I find the breakout rooms, I don't know, Patrick, your experience teaching, it's putting students into breakout rooms, you get a lot more discussion going than trying to do a full class talk. You might have 2 or 3 people that feel confident enough to talk in front of an entire class, but most people are just going to kind of sit back and listen, unless you put them in that group.
Oh, it's where the juice is. It's just it's different though. It's not like being in a group where you can hear where there's ambient. You're sort of in a pod, but it's
Yeah.
still. You're right. It's juicier. But using the chat and as you're doing, editable document, just places people can contribute, even if their camera's off and they're listening.
I noticed someone accidentally put a couple of red lines on
yes.
the slides, and it's on all of the slides somehow.
Oh, huh.
It's all right.
I think it's only on the Zoom screen because when I look at your slideshow
Oh,
on
oh.
Google, it's clean.
I wonder if I did that.
Yeah, maybe.
Michael, it's Remy. You're Rodden from the Yukon here. You can just erase that. I think just erase all annotations from your end.
Okay.
If you go under view options, I think up top.
Okay. Options up top.
View options. I don't know what it looks like on your side, but I can. Oh, no, somebody's putting that in. I can annotate. You see. There, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But you have the option to undo that if you want.
Oh, under annotate, so then I can.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is great.
It's kind of fun to play with.
So oh, look at that. Nice.
Actually, I learned about this when we did the C2C conference last fall. I hosted a workshop and we used that a little bit.
I mean, see, it's wisdom from the Yukon. We need people from the Yukon, to help us out with this stuff.
Yeah, just passing on to wisdom from the C2C gang on the West Coast,
How you doing? Well, we count the Yukon as the West. Come on, you're.
Well, I am farther west than you. I am the farthest
That's true.
west you can be in Canada right now. I'm sorry to say. I'm not sorry to say. Right
Yeah.
on the border with Alaska. That's me.
How's it going?
Going well, Patrick.
Life
Yourself?
is good. Oh, life is good. Springtime. Incredible conference. Great people. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I'm teaching full time here, so I don't have a lot of
Yeah.
extra time for things. Wasn't able to check out any of the rest of the conference
Hmm.
until today, but it's been awesome. It's working really well. Seems to be.
So, should I start making those breakout rooms? People are gonna move
Good, we
directly
could-
into the breakout room when they come back?
Sure, we could ask people to give us a thumbs up or some indication that they're with us. Might be
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, maybe we'll give them one more. Okay, that's 7 minutes after now. Yeah, why don't we do that?
Give us a thumbs up or your camera on if you're comfortable with that. If you're back with us. Thanks, Emiko. Thanks, people.
Okay.
I think we could set those up, Brenda. Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, Remy.
Who's that? Oh, Zoe. Oh, is that who said hello? Who said
Yeah.
hello? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm
Great.
joining room
Yeah.
1.
It's kind of interesting, like the wonderful thing about the ecom conference is meeting people, but I've done that networking thing and I met a few people. I feel like I connected, even that 4 minute speed dating. It was really good, including Stephanie, who's just on there, and Zomi, and yeah.
There we go. Brenda, you're okay placing people in those rooms as they
It's just
arrive?
going automatically.
Yeah, and then if they're not here at the moment, we may need to show them where the button is.
Okay.
I'll
Those all,
stick around for a few more moments. Make sure. Stephanie, you okay? You've got a way to, if you click on
Yeah,
breakout rooms,
there's
at the-
nothing on my screen somehow.
at the
Okay.
bottom of
Maybe
breakout
when
rooms,
maybe it's somewhere hiding, perhaps.
down on the
Nope,
menu
nope.
bar, breakout
That
rooms,
way,
if you
I
click
press
on that,
okay.
Brenda, you can
Oh,
also,
okay. I don't even know what this is. I was just
yeah, but I see is I'm worried about closing the rooms.
don't
I
do
see
that.
a window that says breakout rooms in progress.
Stephanie, you're placed in a room. If you look at the bottom menu where it says breakout rooms, if you click on that button,
perfect. Got it.
it'll
Thanks.
say
Okay.
join now. Thanks.
Yeah, it's great.
And Sarah, you're okay?
Sarah may not be back.
Sarah's still out enjoying it.
Yeah.
Brenda, you okay if I jump into a room and see what's
Sure,
happening?
go ahead. If you know how to do that.
Thanks. We'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Okay.
What was the timing? You can close the rooms and it gives a minute. So I can't recall. I think he thought 7 minutes. So around 12:13. That's pretty tight.
Yeah. So when I hit the close all room button, it gives a minute warning.
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
it should.
Okay.
It should be set on that.
All right. So they had 7. They got in at 7. So they're getting
It's pretty
7
quick.
minutes.
Yeah. Oh, looks like I can't join a room now. Am I in your unassigned list when you click on breakout rooms?
Yeah, I see the rooms.
Am I at the top of the list, not assigned? Unassigned?
No, you're not there.
Where am I? I'm not
Sorry.
here.
Oh, there you are. Move to. I'm just gonna put you in room 3, which only has 3 people.
Perfect. Thanks, Brenda. See you in a few minutes.
But it says not joined. 2 minutes.
We were in the middle of talking and I jumped out.
I'm sorry. We only have 6 minutes left to the session.
Okay, it's a really great session. Really
Good.
great session.
Good, great.
Really important. A lot of my work at OISE, my research, I'm a doctoral student, is about wellness, systemic wellness,
Uh-huh.
period. You know, human and planetary.
Yep.
So really important. Everybody here kind of knows what to do, but
It's astonishing how many people don't know what to do. Yep.
Brenda, you're at Natural Curiosities, right?
That's right.
I know you guys. I know you guys well, and I have your book and all that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I feel badly that Patrick totally got cut off in our room.
Well, I was just saying thank you, E3. So rich. And thanks for that opportunity, Michael. That was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about this kind of an activity, and you compare it to, say, I got my science educator, and science will often encourage, experiences around, traditional approaches to science experimentation, or going outside and identifying different types of trees or plants or birds or whatever. But this is a very different kind of an experience, and I think an important one. I mean, it came up in our conversation, and I'll just talk about it briefly, and then I'll put it out to you. And that's this idea that if we're going to look at the mess that we're in right now, as far as the climate collapse, the climate crisis that we face, this mass extinction of wildlife, of plants across the globe, then we're going to have to consider our perception of the world in a different way. And the traditional kind of scientific view of the world is very utilitarian, and we're at the top and we look down. You know this argument. I think so. We have to think of ways that we can engage our students in rethinking this kind of perception of nature and the natural world. Yeah, and so that was my thinking behind putting these activities together. Other comments on this that maybe came up in your discussions, or anything else?
I do have a question. If this is a safe space with all of you who I really align with. I really love the conference and this talk in particular. And I was just saying to Brenda, is in particular because it's about wellness. Like we're talking about the relationship to our being as wellness for the planet, but also for beings, human beings too. And I just wondered if this is the place to ask, with COVID going on and everything, and from not being able to be in community, and that's part of ecology, like really being pressed up against that. And then suddenly, or being fully in school or out of school. Like we're all educators. You're in school, you're out of school, and all like the angst. And was there ever systemic talk? I'm a doctoral student at OISE, so you guys might know otherwise. You board people, ministry people. Was there ever systemic talk about bringing the option to be outdoors, especially since we hear the scientists and the researchers saying it's good to be outside. It's medicinal to be outside. The best thing for you is vitamin D, not through a pill, but maybe being outside in the light, natural light. And instead of putting millions of dollars into retrofitting like all the systems in the schools, we could have simply built pergolas for inclement weather or whatnot en masse. We're Canada, we've got wood and different environmental and regenerative supplies. And been outdoors. We could have had an experimental time, which we thought was only going to be a month or 2 months, and now we're more than a year. And we on the call know that it's medicinal to be immersed with our feet on the ground, on the grass, rather than concrete spaces and indoor spaces and sedentary
Yes,
ways. Did we
definitely.
ever?
Yeah, I think this is a really good point, and I know that there were some. I mean, everyone's got a different experience from where you're calling from, but I know we only have a few moments left here. I know in Winnipeg there were some districts that were pushing, at least in the spring and fall, they were pushing towards, at least encouraging. There were no funds or nothing strictly, um, you know, all that with very much meat to it, but they're encouraging teaching outside. And I think this idea, and I think it was, I can't remember the writer's name, but she was saying that this pandemic is like a portal, and that when we come out the other end, we can decide, how do we want our world to be different? How do we want our education systems to look? What do we learn from all this? I think one of the things that we've learned is that we're social beings. And the other thing I think that we've learned is that we do have this deep connection with nature that benefits our well-being, but it benefits our well-being not because for some utilitarian purpose, but because we've evolved to be in nature, and that if we really want to create an education that's reinforcing of our humanity, then I think what Stephanie's talking about here, having more opportunities in mainstream schools to be able to learn and to connect with the natural world.
That seems like a wonderful place to close. Thank you for that, David.
Yes,
Thanks, Stephanie. Conscious of our time, on behalf of Ecom 2021, the organizing committee, thank you so much, Michael, for such a rich, engaging, and experiential session. Thank goodness. I'm really struck by the focus on relationships, on networks, and interconnectedness as we look beyond the illusion of individuality. And that really struck me. And thank you for the slide deck. Full of activities. It's a veritable treasure trove of possibilities. So we really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing your work and your wisdom today. Big thanks to Brenda, our Zoom host, and to all of you for joining us. We're into a 10-minute break now, and then our final set of concurrent sessions begin at the bottom of the hour, or the top of the hour if you're in Newfoundland. Thanks again, all. Wishing you well in the important work we do together.
thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.